ARK Survival Evolve, hunted by a Bronto. How did we get here? You know, this wasn't how I thought my day would go, but it's how it's going. It was a pretty normal day. Like most ARK Survival Evolve players, I woke up on a strange, foreign, but slightly mesmerizing location. I checked out my new implant and I looked around at the sights. There's a lovely breeze in the bushes and I kind of like it here. I don't know if I want to live here forever, but it does seem like a nice place. Welcome to the Valguero map. Check out the blue swirly aura around us. Something is different. That's right. Our implant is emitting a temporary disruption field, shielding us from detection. We are in ARK Survival Evolved on the Valguero map. I'm Vadd, and this is the Hunted mod. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this one. This is a mod I've been looking at for a while, and I hope that you are just as excited as I am. If you're not, maybe you will be by the end of it. Like most survivors, we're going to start out by collecting everything and anything that we possibly can, and then I saw it. Did you see it? Just there through the trees, off in the distance, an opportunity to test our implant. Are we really hidden or not? You know, generally in vanilla ARK, that is unmodded ARK, Brontos are not dangerous. They're not even a little bit dangerous. Don't even pretend to be dangerous. I'm just kidding. They're dangerous if you mess with them, but they're not aggressive. That's the important thing to know about Brontos in vanilla unmodded ARK, but we're in a overhaul mod, which means systems have changed, mechanics have changed, items have changed, etc. So, is the Bronto going to eat us or not? That's kind of where we're at right now. As long as our disruption field is up, this is bad. Well, we're not dead yet, so maybe this isn't so bad. Suffice to say, it would seem the Bronto is not protecting a nest. Yes, you heard that correctly, a nest. But if we're gonna get stomped on, maybe we should at least do it in style. We have our nice swimsuit on, but maybe we could put on some primitive clothes to upgrade our accessories. Here we go. Bronto no longer stomping on us, but also not aggressive towards us, which is a big win. You heard that correctly. That's right, a nest. A big part of the Hunted mod is finding dinosaur nests. That's right, there's no longer knockout tames or passive tames. The dinos will spawn in with a nest. I would like to comment on just how legendary we are at tree punching. This is fairly impressive. You have to admit, if you met someone who this is how they chop trees, you too would be impressed. Suffice to say, we're gonna harvest everything in sight and we're gonna keep our eyes open for some unusual ARK beast behavior. You know, the beasts in ARK, there's some that are aggressive, some that aren't aggressive, but generally it's easy to tell them apart. You have carnivores, big meat eaters, and they run straight at you. But in the Hunted mod, we're gonna be dealing with some herbivores that are gonna come right after us as well. Now, another really huge, important, vital change in the Hunted mod, the corpses. The corpses really matter, and they are valuable. If you see a corpse on the ground, go over, check it out, take a swing at it, see what you can take off. Notice here, we do not have metal tools, we cannot fully harvest the corpse. And, you know, the old saying, hatchet for hide, pick for meat, it's changed. This pick is giving us spoiled meat, raw fish meat, and raw prime fish meat, but our hatchet only gave us the raw fish meat and the spoiled meat. So if you don't want the prime meat, don't use the pick because you're going to get a lot of it. That's right. The Hunted mod not only changes dino behavior, doesn't just change the corpse loot, but in addition, stack sizes. Yeah, it is really, truly an overhaul mod. You're going to have to learn new things, and I love this. Look, we threw some meat on the ground, and it actually looks like meat. It doesn't look like a nice little box. It's actually the meat. I'm a big fan of this. Hey, if you are going to eat this fish meat, I found out you can eat it raw. Right now, we just don't know any better. We're going to cook it for safety and survival purposes. But in reality, we could have eaten this prime fish meat raw, which is good to know in hindsight because facts are, we really get a lot of it. But once we start eating it, our health and our food hunger bar finally gets satisfied. You may have noticed we have this giant red flashing aura. Well, our health is pretty low and it's not regenerating. In all seriousness, the early game in the Hunted is absolutely brutal. It is just terrifying time to be alive. Your stats have been adjusted, things way more, and we're picking up weird things. We picked up a cocoa droop seed just off the beach. It's unfamiliar. And do you see them? You see the stegos over there? There's a whole herd of them, a pack of them, a bunch of stegos hanging out. Yeah, there's new dinosaur behaviors that we're going to kind of take it slow this season. You know, we've had a couple of series here on the channel that I hope that you've enjoyed. If you haven't, you should check those out. But in the Hunted, it's going to be a change of pace. We really want to spend some time with the wild beast out in the wild. We want to enjoy their behavior. And check this out. How often do you see this in ARK? You don't. They're always just fighting for survival. But in this case, it's really us who's fighting for survival. These stegos are not aggressive, okay? The more time you spend in the Hunted mod, the more you're gonna start recognizing behavior for what it is. We're gonna slip into K mode. That's that orbital camera. It's gonna give us a better look around the rock. These stegos, to me, the untrained eye, it would seem that maybe there could be a stegosaurus nest in the area. That's right. And now we've become the bush because we wanna get a little closer, but we also don't wanna get in a fight. When you first spawn in the Hunted, you're going to have some really low stats and things are going to be really heavy. I would suggest pumping movement speed until you have enough points to pump some stamina, because you can outrun a lot of kind of these beginning herbivores as soon as you have the points to do that. But early game, it's just rough. It's really rough to get those levels in and to stay alive. Now, keep an eye here. I think there's like 4 or 5 stegosauruses milling about here, hanging out, and I think we've got a little too close. See the purple one on the left? That's the one I'm worried about. If they see us here, yep, we're in trouble. Bye. Okay, bye. We're out. We're leaving. I don't know where we're running to, but we're running as fast as we can, as far as we can. Oh no. Okay. Facts are, the stegos are hostile. That's right. They're herbivores. Generally, a friendly dinosaur is going to want to eat our face. Not just want to eat our face, but relish in it. And it's because they're protecting their nest, and not just one of them. If we upset one area is still lurking, he'll really chase us far. Facts are, not just one of the nest protectors, defenders will show up and fight you, but the whole family. You're fighting everyone. You mess with one of them, you're fighting all of them. So we need to not only get out of there because one stego was after us, but because we were about to upset the whole clan. Of course, I do suggest running down and killing a Phiomia as quick as you can. And remember, dino corpses are valuable resources. We finally have our hands on some hide. You may have noticed there's quite a few mods that you're seeing here, like the no durability armor. As always, all the mods are listed in the episode's description. So if you're saying, wow, what was letting some Ankylosaurus. If you're wondering, oh no, I think he's angry. I think he's coming right for us. Look, he's doing his best. Ankies aren't the fastest, okay? But just like the stego, they kind of have an angry emotion of like, I can't believe you're here and doing that to me. And then they come for you. So you have a little time to get away. And neither of them corner very well. You know, it's not a pack of raptors, right? Hey, all the important mods that are being used that are relevant for what's going on in the series are in this video's description. Click that. There's a mod list there if you're ever wondering what those are. And if you see someone comment going, what is that mod? Just laugh because you know they didn't watch the first episode. Oh boy. Or read the description, awkward. So, Phiomias. This is our source of early game hide. You might find another easy pick and tame to go ahead and try and kill. Check this out, the trike. The trike is an absolute bully. This Triceratops is angry at us from a distance of ridiculous proportions. And remember, Triceratops have that animation where they kind of stomp their foot and duck their head and charge you. And then they can do all that bleed damage. If this trike hits us, we're done. We were slot capped. See the black. Oh, one other thing on trikes. Remember, the front plate of them, you see we're hitting some 20s and then 200s. That front plate on the trikes, it takes reduced damage. So you really need to be aiming at kind of the back edge on kind of the softer parts. And again, this is a herbivore. This is a dino. We just don't expect to be angered at us. Welcome to the Hunted mod. We've been hunted so far by, I'm going to say the Bronto, but not really. We've been hunted by the stego, the Triceratops, and Ankylosaur. We really are living in some serious danger. We haven't even run across a carnivore yet, and a carnivore yet, but still, we need to get off this island, and I'm thinking the way to go is a raft. If we can just raft off this little island we're on, we can go find a more suitable base location. Now, part of the secrets to rafting around is you need to make sure, if you haven't checked out my raft build guide, check that out, but you need to put it in water that's deep enough. So here's actually really deep. I was surprised by, you step right off the edge here in Valguero. Hey, if you're responsible, take a shot of your favorite drink every time I mispronounce the map name. I've been debating a lot. Is it Valguero? Is it Valguero? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's surprisingly deep here, like 2 foundations away from the shore. It is like shockingly deep. But never fear, it's plenty deep for our raft. There aren't too many aggressive underwater predators in our vicinity. This is perfect for some raft tames. And by tames, I mean raft building. One of the things that you're going to discover in the Hunted mod are the berries have betrayed you. That's right, the berries have betrayed you. Red berries don't give as much food as they do normally. They just give a little bit of water and a little bit of food. That's right, the berries not only are giving you food, they're also going to be helping hydrate you. Hey, if you're really not sure what we're doing on here to building the rafts, I do have a raft guide. That's what you want to be watching. I'm not going to explain how to build a raft here, but I am going to show you how we at least got started. Red berries have some water and some food. Yellow berries have some water and some food. Narco berries are still going to knock you unconscious. They do give a little bit of food, and they actually heal you just a little bit. And the stem berries, those white berries, they're still going to give you a little bit of food, and they're going to lower your torpor and increase your energy bar. Lastly, the blueberries and the purple berries. So the purple berries are going to be pretty equal on the food and the water, but the blueberries are going to give you a little bit of food, a lot of hydration, but they're also going to boost your oxygen and your torpor. What does that mean? Well, if your tames are struggling to keep their food in them, it's because you're giving them berries that are hydrating them and not satisfying the requirements for food. Just like your hero here, your survivor, you really need to be eating purple or red berries to not starve until you can get your hands on some meat. All the other berries are going to offer hydration or something that's going to knock you unconscious, which is just not what you want. So in addition to having to deal with your stats being heavily reduced, you just go to eat some berries just to have a regular, starting snack, starting survivor needs, and it just doesn't happen. The berries betray you. On top of all of that, I mentioned before that the dino corpses, whatever's lying around on the ground, they're important. They have valuable resources in them, and the size of the carcass that you harvest from directly correlates to how much resource you pull from that. That means that if I go and kill a dodo, a little dodo bird on the beach, and I go to chop it up for some meat, I'm going to get less dodo from the meat than if I go and kill a triceratops or a bronto. Those are literally, tangibly, visibly just larger than the dodo. So when you're trying to go out and get some resources, there is actually some value to killing something a little larger if you're on, say a meat run. Now, you do not necessarily need to build a raft. You don't have to build it out of stone. I'm not even sure I recommend doing any of those things, but based on where our starting location is, where we're on this teeny tiny little island, there's just not a lot of space, and I don't see anywhere that I really want to build on. We started right next to not only the Bronto, but the multiple different herbivores. We're really looking for a base location that is more easily defendable. If we wanted to build out in the open, we could. You really can build just about anywhere you want on the Hunted mod. However, we want to build somewhere that's just a little easier to defend. Right now, if we tried to build out in the open, we would be susceptible to attack from all, 360 degrees plus the sky. So the whole reason I'm putting a roof on this raft is because I'm concerned we may go by some flying offenders. That's right. Remember, just like the herbivores are aggressive when they protect their nests, anything that puts down a nest, which is everything in the mod, is going to be aggressive when defending their nest. That means things that aren't normally aggressive will be out to get us. Hey, Rate my raft. What do you think? Comment now. Is it a good raft, a great raft, a bad raft? Do you like it? It's a weird design. I'm still working on my raft guide update 2.0. It's a work in progress, but I kind of like it. I have a, good visibility up, down, all around. Only thing we need now is if we can just get a little bit set up here, get some materials crafting, that would be optimal. Remember, we've tried to harvest a few of our friends we find lying around dead, and we've needed metal tools. Well, we've been getting some metal. So while we're rafting from where we are now to our new base location, we are going to be trying to get maybe a little cementing paste cooking, maybe a little bit of metal smelting, get our hands on some metal tools. I feel like that would be pretty optimal to be able to have our kind of roving base here and to get some of those kind of second tier tools. I'm looking forward to that. Check this out. I don't know why they're glitched up here, but free biotoxin, sure, why not? Thanks, I love it. Now, we also get some green goo, and that's about it. Biotoxin was great, green goo, not so great. It doesn't even go on our inventory, just kind of insults us in the face. All that being said, I love this cement mixer mod. It just lets you make cementing paste with 3 different ingredients instead of 2. They're a little easier ingredients to get. It's just a nice little mod that I think makes the early game a little smoother, and what is arguably one of the toughest early games in modded ARK here in the Hunted mod. A couple of beds, a gravestone, and we're gonna say goodbye to this little starting island. It was nice, but as you can see, we had to move pretty far away because the Bronto tail could whip us through this raft. It would be bad. It would be really bad. But we're away. Does it need a name? Do we name the raft? I don't know. I've been debating that a little bit. But if you have a good raft name, let me know. And check this out. We're going to make our way, I think, a little left. We can curve a little more left. I'm not very familiar with this map. The Valguero map. Why is this such a tricky name? But the waters are suspiciously deep. Like, I'm fairly confident it's a full ocean down there. Because I was just flying around going, what's around here? Is this a good map or not? And I saw a Mosa at the surface. My original plan this series was to have a waterworld base. Oh, look at the Spino. You see it there in the top left corner? It's actually on its way towards us? No. Wow, that's the island we just left. So, note to self, that island might be home to a Spino. Yeah, we're not gonna live there. I thought it'd be fun to have a waterworld base. We're gonna build just like a whole raft camp. A terrible idea. I saw Mosas at the surface on my scout run, and I said, nope, never mind. So I don't really trust these waters, but I don't really see anywhere good to put to shore just yet either. Both sides of the shore are absolutely teeming with creatures, and I have some concerns that there might be a nest down there, and this is not good. Do you see it? It's right. No, bye. Okay, so for those of you not familiar, that's Elite Sickfix, and their sole job is to reap vengeance on rafts. If you have a plant species, you can kind of outrun them, but we don't have one of those right now. If we stay in a completely straight line and make no turns, we might be a little bit quicker, but probably not. We're not that quick. Okay, we need to... This is not good. They're gonna wreck our raft. Okay, there's a Spino. You see the Spino on our left? Here's the plan. Let's go a little closer to the shore here, where the lead Sickfist can get caught up, and maybe we can get him to kind of bite the Spino. Maybe they'll fight, right? Spino fight Moby Dick. Come on, let's get out of here. That's not good. That's so much damage. I think we pulled a little tricky move here. Yes! Ha! Get him stuck up on the beach. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Remember, in ARK, dinos are aggressive on line of sight, and the lead Sickfist is only aggressive to a raft, and we are a raft. Yeah, okay. That worked out all right. Stay back there, sir. Stay back there. So, let's just stay out of the water. No. The lead Sickfist is too fast. I don't think we can take more than one more of those. You see the Megalodon down there? Yeah, this is not how I planned this. All of our nice metal and cementing paste is... No. Okay, well, here's the plan. We swim for shore. Yeah, the raft's just gone. It's still kind of disintegrating. I don't know why that's... Oh, no! Hey! We're not a raft. We're just getting straight bullied by the lead Sickfist. It is out for... Oh, wow. Look at all these dolphins. Too many dolphins. They're going to probably lead over the carnivores. Awesome. Well, we're still alive at least. Now, facts are, if we didn't have our no durability hide armor, we'd probably be be dead by now. I think the lead sickness actually hit us pretty hard. As you can see, oh no, a Sarco, Megalodon. Is there anyone else that wants to take a bite out of us? Maybe? Maybe the Pteranodon over there is interested? Oh no. Okay, if we can just, wow, right through the ocean. I think the lead sickness really took it personally, us rafting in their waters. I don't know what's on the other side of these trees, but we're gonna hide behind this rock here. Remember, dinos are aggressive on line of sight. If they can't see us, they shouldn't be too angry at us here. Looks like we're in the clear. We're gonna harvest the beach here a little bit. Maybe we can just put down another raft and then continue our way up the river. I've got a spot I'm thinking would be kind of nice for a base, but we've got to get there and we're just not there yet. I don't know, no. Sarco. Well, sometimes that's just how it happens. We're gonna do the random respawn and see if we can just spawn in a little closer to where I'm hoping we can get a base built on. I cannot overstate just how hard it is to get started out in the ARK The Hunted mod. This blue aura around us, that disruption field, really does make a difference when we're trying to just get off the ground and get going. Until you can get some levels into your character, it's gonna be tough. This is a huge setback. There's no way around that. Losing the raft and our resources that were on there is pretty tough. Now, we do have a couple of mods to try and just make the early game have a little less bite. You saw the no durability armor. It makes a big difference. We probably would have been killed in 1 hit or 2 hits without that no durability armor. We really have to get back to where we were to try and move forward again. The problem with playing the Hunted mod is you're the only option for a long time. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's a bad mod. It's just a part of how the mod goes. But in ARK, you're always the worst tool. There's always something you can tame that can do whatever you're trying to do better. Whether it's just travel between 2 points, whether it's harvest a resource, soak a turret, it doesn't matter. There's always a tame that can do something better than your hero, than your survivor. So, in the Hunted mod, we are forced to rely on our survivors' basic skills for a long time. And in addition to having to rely on ourselves, we also don't have the same options to get off the ground as quickly, because we can't just try and knock out a high-level tame. I think it's a good challenge. I think if you're into overhaul mods and you haven't tried this one out, you really have to try it. It's unique, and I think it adds a slight sense of, I don't want to say ARK needs the realism, but a little sense of realism. You know, right now we're being chased by a Triceratops, which is not optimal because they were in between us and the Stegosauruses. But if we go up this hill, now we're going to be chased by these Ankylosaurs because they're also going to be aggressive, which also not optimal. And if we wanted to go the long way around, we're of course going to run into another Triceratops. It's tough. It is so tough to get started in the Hunted mod. I like the no durability armor, and I like the reusable items. You know, even if we want to swim around, Megalodon. There's just no good way to get around in the early game in the Hunted mod, because again, we can't fly, we can't tame anything just yet. We have to get somewhere. Now, why don't we just build a base anywhere, right? Why don't we just build a base anywhere we want? Well, we could have started building a base right where we were, and you need a base. You do. Check this out. We're gonna get our first look at a Rex right around this corner. I keep worrying something's gonna run down on the hill from us. But you have to build a base. You really do. You're going to have a hard time hatching your eggs just kind of running around out in the wild. You need kind of a safe, secure environment. Look how dangerous it is here. We just passed the Stegos and the Stygimylox and the Megalodons. There's Rexes down in this beach. It looks like there's an Alpha Rex stuck in the ground as well. There's just nowhere good for us to go. Early game Hunted, and even kind of into the mid game, there's a lot of time spent like this. Just waiting. Trying to figure out, is it safe to run? Is something sneaking up behind me? Is this a good time to try and get that egg? Can I travel between these points? I can't quite see around the bend. There could be a Spino. Is this water that deep? It's really just an interesting time to try and survive, because you have these moments of just sporadic panic where everything's gone wrong and you're desperately just trying to make it. And then moments like this where things are okay, but they're not great. Look, that Rex is kind of climbing up the left side of the hill. We're gonna have to move. Like, we're obviously not safe here, but I think, yeah, this is the end. Now, another mod we added to kind of help with the early game here is those reusable items. Having a parachute you can use, having additional spears you can throw, having more bolas really does help take a little bit of the grind out of the early game. It's not necessarily going to make it easy, but you don't have to run those mods with the Hunted. The Hunted is its own standalone mod, and again, the mod list is in the description, but those are mods that we've added for our own enjoyment and experience. You do need a base. You really do. Look, the Stego's mad at us now. Awesome. We're out of here. You need a base because you need somewhere safe to hatch your eggs. And I don't really... Ankylosaur. We know that's aggressive to us now. And you see it way over there? Yeah, an RG. If there's an RG nest, RG's around, you're done. You've got to leave. RGs are just way too tough to deal with in the early game. Even if you destroy their nest, they can still kind of hang around. They're surprisingly tanky. Even if you take one down in the pack, there's always a pack of them. They heal off of their dying brethren. Like you kill one and the others then heal. It's the worst. It's just the worst. We're gonna need to try and lie low for a minute. I think there's a cave around this corner we can duck into because there's Spinos straight ahead of us. Hopefully they get in a fight with something and go down, but it's just tough. It is so tough to get started off, and you need a base. Now, if we build out in the open, we would need to secure all 360 degrees around us, a full circle, as well as above us and potentially below us, and that's just not optimal. We're really trying to get ourselves to a location where, hey, check this out, without metal tools, we can't fully harvest the parasaur. It's important, you need those metal tools. We're looking for a location that's a little easier to defend, that only has a couple of areas of access, that's maybe a little bit off the ground. It doesn't have to be a cave. You can build out in the open, but this is where I picked, right here. Welcome to our starter base location. Now, there's an RG chasing us. Of course, what a long time for that RG to still be after us. But right here, it's open, okay, on one giant side, but there's only kind of two ways up for a ground tame. And we have a little bit of a shield over our head, a little bit of a shelter. So it's a pretty reasonably defensible base location. Now, we need a base because we need to not only have a safe place to hatch eggs, but we also need a place to, start our metal tools. We need those metal tools. Without metal tools, we can't fully harvest the various corpses we find and or create ourselves. If you do want to build out in the open, you're probably going to want to look into getting some spike walls. We're using stone structures here, which again, this is an overhaul mod. What's going on with the stone structures? Well, you don't necessarily, it's not the protection you think it is. So dinosaurs that in the Hunted mod that can now break stone that could not before, and this is not an exhaustive list, but now, if you're in the Hunted mod, the Giga, the Rex, the Yudi, the Spino, the Carlo, the Allosaurus, yeah, all of those big carnivores can break right through stone. Therazinos, Diabears, the Chalocatheriums, kind of the big bear guys walking around, they can all break stone. Your Tranks, your Triceratops, your Rhinos, your Ankies, your Doeds, all can break stone. And all the long-necked boys plus the mammoths. So that Bronto, your Diplodocus, your Parasaurs, your mammoths, yeah, they can all break stone. There's so many things that can destroy stone that even when you want to build out somewhere and you have a good stone survival structure, it's not the same security it is in vanilla ARK. So that's why we picked this location here, and we're gonna see how there's this kind of big wide entrance here. Pteranodon. Remember, Pteranodons could be aggressive. This one flew pretty close, but it's running away, so we don't think there's a nest too nearby. We need to set up kind of well, we don't need to, but we're going to. There's only really two ways in this base for a ground team to get to us. We're pretty close to water. We do have an issue with dinos that can fly. We'll have to see what we can do to mitigate that problem. And I think a Bronto might be able to get pretty close to our base here, but we're going to try and get set up just a little bit of a base here. And here's the big one entrance, right? It's from the other angle. We put down a couple of stone pillars just so we can get a little bit of an eye on where we're trying to build. And here's the other entrance where we ran into the base from. If we can block off these two entrances, we have a pretty good space to try and move forward successfully. Now, out here on this side, I'm thinking I'll make some kind of a kill zone. I don't want to completely just gate it off, but I'm going to create some kind of an obstacle. So if something is chasing us on the way back to base, we're going to have an opportunity to maybe fight them. Remember, we have to rely on our hunter for so long. Until you get your levels in, until you get to a reasonable base location and start getting set up, you don't have any tames. Now, I'm going to spare all of us the embarrassment of seeing how hard it is to hit the broadside of a Bronto, but suffice to say, even with reusable spears, you still have to hit something. Hey, should you fight a Bronto? The answer is no. Don't fight a Bronto. We are way up here on top of our cliff, and I want to see if the Bronto can get us. This is a test run. We don't really have a lot to lose. I don't think it can get us. Remember, Bronto attacks are that big stomp and the tail whip, so we're fairly safe here from a Bronto, but Brontos are actually incredibly dangerous. Do not start a fight with a Bronto if you're not prepared for the consequences of doing that. We all have that one tribe mate that angers the Bronto. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Listen, once we kill the Bronto, we have a new problem on our hands. There's no way we can harvest all this meat. This is going to take us so many meat runs. This will feed our entire tribe of all me, myself, and I for weeks. Now, that is if we can kill this Bronto. It's going to be tough, but I think we're going to be able to pull this off. In addition to getting loads and loads of meat. Remember, dino corpses are awesome, Sarko. No. Flashback City here. Watch us panic. This is what panic looks like. If you're wondering what it looks like when someone panics, it's this. We run way too far, way too fast, for way too long, for almost no reason. There's no way that little Sarko is going to catch us way up here. But seriously, once you have a dino corpse on the ground, you have to go check it out. You need to go harvest the resources, not just the meat. I don't mean get out there with your pick, get out there with your hatchet and encumber yourself and slot cap yourself. No. Go over to the interface on the carcass, get in the radial menu, and see what's actually going on. You see that trike over there? I have some real concerns about that trike. I'm not sure it respects dino corpses. From our perspective, we're completely hidden, but I think their AI is going to interpret it as we're just free game. We'll find that in a little bit. A good source of hide. Again, notice we need a metal. Oh no! Yeah, great. There's that bleed effect we're trying to avoid. Remember, when you're bleeding, you have that big broken bone. You have the bleed animation, and in addition, you're losing a percentage of your health every second for 5 to 10 seconds. I think there's 2 different bleeds. So, yeah, note to self. Now we all know if you're on the backside of a downed Bronto, it doesn't mean that your enemies can't see you. That's right. The trikes are our enemies. So, notice we need those metal tools to be able to harvest all the different parts of the downed Bronto. So it's almost not worth fighting some things if we can't harvest the things that we're going to get from them. We want to make sure we have those metal tools. Again, I mentioned this a little earlier, but I do like this cement mixture. Just being able to get cementing paste going a little earlier is just nice. It's just nice. You don't need it. It's not a part of the Hunted mod. All that being said, now that we have our metal tools, we have an opportunity to see what does the Bronto actually give us. Is it worth fighting? Just kidding. We need to deal with that Triceratops. This is a real problem. Our base really isn't safe. If we can get up here, I think the trike can get up here. However, we're going to take advantage of this cliff edge and we're going to try and go ahead and take out the trike. We have the high ground. I mean that in every sense of the word. This is part of why we built our base here. If we were out just on the beaches like the regular Bobs, we would have to basically sacrifice or risk our base. Right now, we're just on this cliff edge and we're going to take advantage of that. Go ahead and scare off the trike. And I think, wow, the trikes are bullies. Don't mess with them. I think that trike, or maybe there are more trikes, killed the Spino and that Sarko over there. I have to get a little closer to take a look at that. Oh, this is bad. I think the fall damage is going to be the death. No. Okay. Well, best case scenario is we get the buff and maybe we don't die. Like it's got to be close to not alive, right? Like it's a lot of spears. Oh, this is bad. It's a lot of spears. It's getting bloody. Okay, embarrassing. A little embarrassing, but hey. We get the implant buff, which means things should be ignoring us so we can harvest in peace, right? That's how that works. Harvest in peace, HIP. Yeah, now we're hip. Listen, if you're not going to have the metal tools, but you're out there killing stuff, I'm not saying that you're setting yourself back, because you're not, but you are kind of wasting time and energy. And are you really a survival player if you don't harvest your own body? I'd like to discuss that in the comments. Check this out. Sauropod vertebrae. Notice it's the color of the letters there are red. It's probably maybe a little bit more rare of a drop. Not sure that that's what those colors mean, but suffice to say that was a sauropod. We killed one, and we only could get those vertebrae because we had the metal tools. Let's check out the Spino. Free Spino kill. I have no idea what killed this Spino, but look, Spino sail, shaw green, scaled hide. Piranhas? No. The piranhas can go. If only our buff stayed with us, because now we're at piranha bait. Awesome. We're out of here. We're leaving. Why does everything want to eat us? We're not that tasty. Like, we're a little scrawny. Come on. And I don't know what killed this strike. Maybe it was us, maybe it wasn't. But look, with our metal tools, we can now see we can get armored plates and keratin. Remember, if you want cementing paste and whatnot, you need to get keratin, and that's kind of a hard thing to get your hands on. I don't want to give you a false sense of how long these things are going to take. It's really long to harvest these resources. I've been speeding them up for the sake of your time and my time, but in reality, you have to put your points into your crafting skill. I know at the beginning of the episode here, I said, hey, get points in the, do you see it? The trike. Why? Who invited the triceratops, right? Why are they so tough to kill? Why are they so fast? Why do they kill us so quick? In the beginning, I said, hey, get some points in movement speed until you can afford to put some points in the stamina. If you can outrun those things, you're probably okay. But because we're relying on ourselves, we're also having to deal with being, oh, he's going to charge. Come on, just hit the cliff, hit the cliff. There we go. We also have to be putting points then into weight because we're going to be over encumbered. And you harvest, when you're harvesting from corpses in the hunted mod, you harvest more resources and you harvest them. Oh no, we messed this up. That bad. It's stuck on the same rock. Are you kidding me? 2 for 2 on this one? You harvest more resources and you harvest them quicker by raising your crafting skill. It is really a slog in the early game. I don't mean that in a bad way. Slog? Oh, not again. No. Parachute. Never mind. Well, at least we'll get the buff that'll protect us for a little so we can go pick up our stuff. Is that sounding familiar? Kind of the anthem of this episode. Listen, you need to put points in the crafting skills. You need to put points into your weight. You're going to need to put probably some points into fortitude until you can get some reasonable clothes on. It's just tough in the early game. And on some level, again, not in a bad way, it's a little overwhelming. The simple fact that the berries have betrayed you, they don't feed you the same way. You can't just tame anything. You have to rely on yourself so much. It is genuinely a tough start. Check out the Sarco. We can get a Sarco skin, some more of those armored plates, and some hides. So we're getting unique drops from these different corpses. You have to harvest them to get them. And that harvesting takes a long time. Do not be surprised if you're on that harvest screen for a full 1 to 3 minutes, especially when you have no points. Oh, come on. Who invited the Triceratops? Picking a fight with everything. You're really going to have a tough time in the early game. It's just hard, but I think it's kind of fun. You know, when you play vanilla ARK so much, a lot of these things you kind of overlook just how overpowered you can become so very quick. I think the early game, and see these parasaurs, check this out. They're running away from us. That's telling me there's not a nest nearby. I think if there's a nest nearby, they will come after us. They will pick a fight with us. We got to get a little more secure in our base right now. We have the location we want, but you can't not appreciate the struggle, the frustration, the obstacles you have to overcome here in the Hunted mod. I really do like it. I like the challenge. I like the extra time spent in the primitive stage. I think too often we get just too overpowered. We can tame an early, large predator or an early flyer, and ARK becomes, as a more veteran player, it becomes a little bit trivialized. I don't mean that again in a bad way. I think it's a fun game, but all in all, I really think you ought to try this mod out. With the S+, we have the S+ crafting station, which lets us put down these behemoth gates in the stone variety and our reinforced doors. There we go. Whack them down, punch our way through. Check that out. Remember, dinos in ARK are aggressive on a line of sight. We're putting up these gates to limit the lines of sights into our base. Now, if I can just line this up, yeah, who put this pillar here? I don't know who would do that. What are the odds that that's where the pillar went? If we can just get these gates down, we have just a little more security. Nothing should really wander into our base unless they, wander in from this little gap here, which this looks more like a problem for PvP than PvE here. But also the ceiling. We need to go kind of check out what's up there and see if things can fall in on us. I think they can. I just don't think it's super likely. What should we name this place? I've just been calling it the starter base, but it's a gorgeous base spot. I think it could use a pretty okay average to great name. Now, is this the secret to getting onto the YouTube trending page? I've been paying attention, and it's always Minecraft. Is this Minecraft? Is this what they do? Awesome. You know, this is what never happens in Minecraft, right? We get glitched off our base. Thankfully, we have a parachute and into the piranha-infested waters, but that's just classic ARK. I can't believe we did that. Just complete lagged and launched ourselves off. Is this Minecraft? Is this not what happens in Minecraft? Is this my path to YouTube trending? Place more foundations? No. For real, there's a reason that most of the time when you're watching ARK content, you don't see a lot of building being done, unless it's deliberately a building video. It's because there's only two types of ARK building: frustrating and less frustrating, and one of these columns is twice as big as the other, and I'm not going to tell you which one. You can just go and experience that for yourself. By putting on these foundations, it puts us in a position where nothing should spawn inside of our base. I can't promise things won't run through our base. Remember, there's all those different dinos that if we do get them aggressive and lead them back to our base, they can get through stone, which would be a pretty sad setback to have. However, at this point, we're not trying to get anything to come eat our base, and we don't want things spawning in our base. So, moving forward, note to self, note to all my tribe mates, that would be just me, myself, and I, don't lead something that's hungry and aggressive and chasing you back to the base. Check this out. I love this mod added into the series, the modded spikes table, the spike station. It gives you a couple of spiky options a little earlier into the series. Remember, we only have ourselves to survive for a very long time. We want to make arrows. We need feathers. We haven't even talked about how to get feathers yet. So spikes are a pretty good option to defend us, and the spike station lets us add a little spiky variety, a little spicy spike into our builds. I really like this addition, and here's the way it works. We build the spike station, we build the spikes, here they are. These are the stone spike pillars. I think they look kind of fun. We can run right through them. If something's chasing us, instead of running right into our gate and start munching on that, there's a chance that we will be able to block some of that off. I hope you like our starter base. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. Check this out. We built this little wall here because this is kind of the limit. If anything falls off, it can't possibly fall inside of here because there's the ceiling. You would have to, glitch through the whole ceiling, which I'm not saying won't happen, but this is kind of a note to ourselves. One, there's a big drop off into the piranha waters and Sarco and Spino, whatever else spawns down there. But in addition, we also know that nothing can fall on top of us. Now, remember I said we wanted to kind of set up maybe a little bit of a kill zone on the other side of our base, on that long entrance there. We're going to take advantage of these spikes, and we're going to go ahead and do that. We haven't closed anything off. I think I can ride a dino through most of these gaps, but it gives us lots of little places we can kind of duck around, run through, run over. Remember, a Spino can technically clear walls that are in the range of 3 to 4 high, so I'm not expecting a Spino to get all the way up here, but I'd like to be a little prepared and to have some options. We'll have to update you and I as the series progresses to how these work. I don't think I have too much footage of anything chasing me under them just yet, but this is kind of the angle, the design, the flow we went with here, where there isn't really a straight line back into our base. You can get back there, you can walk back there, a human opponent could run right into your base, but for the most part, there's not a straight line into our base. But also, I didn't want things to get stuck. I don't want things to run off that top cliff edge and then just be stuck on our spikes. I like them to have avenues to keep kind of their run animations, their big turn animations, and maybe fall off this cliff or kill themselves on the spikes. Whichever works better for them is good with me. Now, in addition to having these spikes, we have reusable spears, but let's talk a little bit about arrows. What if we wanted to get a bow involved? We need to get feathers. You need feathers to make arrows. I love that addition. It makes sense in my head. How to get feathers? Well, you need to kill something that has feathers, which, is like an RG, which is a little out of our weight class. Or you could pluck them from a dodo, but have you seen any dodos yet? I haven't. Let's check out the top of the base. So if something was to come, is there a spawn that, some kind of loot crate that lands up here? We've got to get more loot crates. We have to get more of those, but it's really flat. I could have built a base up here. Well, okay, we're looking down on, this is under us is our base right now. This is the top of our base. So hypothetically, something could fall down here, and then maybe, just maybe, if they have zero momentum and aren't going to, dead stop, turn around, and run back in, maybe they could fall into our base. I doubt it, though. I really doubt it. It's much more likely it would fall through all of the ceiling than actually over. Look at, man, there's always something knocking about down there. Not good. Not good for us. But I think we're pretty secure here. We've got gates, we've got foundations, we have our spike walls, and we've killed ourselves again. I think this is something, if you were running servers, you would probably need to kind of mitigate somehow. that people are going to take advantage of that death mechanic. We're going to go explore here because we have the buff. Hey, there is a section on the mods Steam workshop page which covers, if you're running servers, how you can change the length of that box buff. Hey, check this out. It's a nest with an egg in it. How exciting is this? This is our first nest. Now, it says Pelagornis. Those are pteranodons, and I think the big flappy boys are Tropionathus. Those big, as long as they're not attacking us, we're taking the nest. I don't see any Pelagornises around here. The problem with the Pelagornis nest is it's a large egg, right? Look closely, it says large egg. And the large egg is a little too much for us. Yeah, Tropionathus. Yeah, we're probably safe. Make sure anytime you ever get a nest, you destroy it. It's not going to respawn eggs. It's not going to respawn resources. And a Morellatops nest, very nice. But if you don't destroy the nest, it's not going to respawn. It's not going to spontaneously refill. You need to be collecting the resources when you find a nest and or taking the eggs out, but you have to destroy it when you're done. Otherwise, that spawn location is taken up by the nest and nothing new ever comes in. Now, here's a problem. We finally got ourselves some eggs, but they're not eggs that we can do anything with. Why? Well, we need implants. Where do you get implants? There's a couple places. The easiest, most consistent place I found for most beginner implants is the drops, these big loot drops, the beacons. This purple drop here is being guarded by these stegosauruses. This is a real problem for us because they're aggressive. I don't see a stego nest anywhere, but we need to get their attention and pull them away from this purple beacon so that we have an opportunity to go ahead and get our hands on whatever implant is in that beacon. The different implants are needed not just from, or you can get them not just from implants. The different implants can be gotten from not only beacons, but in addition, you can sometimes get them from nests, or you might find a fallen survivor. It looks like a resource node. It's just kind of hanging out on the ground, but really, it can kind of feel overwhelming. All of the things you're just trying to do, especially as a solo player in the Hunted mod. I'd highly recommend, if you can play this mod, play it as a group. I think this really is balanced well, like most ARK, for tribe play. That being said, you do need those implants there. Check this out. You see, instead of getting eggs, we could tame the babies. They're passive tames, but we need kibble. We don't have kibble, but it's tough to understand just how dangerous it is when you don't think. We're just picking up flowers, things are fine. Next thing you know, you're being hunted. Quetzal nesting ground. Yeah, last thing I want is to deal with, flying Quetzals that are attacking us. Even worse, now we're in a Quetzal nesting ground and an RG hunting ground. In other words, we are actively being hunted by RGs, some of the worst flyers to deal with. And there goes a Sabertooth and Quetzals, and here come the RGs. You know it's bad when you run at the Sabertooth because that's your best chance at surviving. We basically ran in circles long enough to upset the Quetzals as well. And thank goodness for these reusable parachutes because they took us right over the Allosauruses. It is just so dangerous. You need a tribe. You need a group of people. You really do. I think that is optimal because, well, one person's out, trying to steal some eggs. Another person might be collecting some resources or running down the beacons for these implants. It can be a lot. Check this out. Terror Bird Corpse. That Terror Bird Corpse has some feathers, but we needed metal tools to get them. There's nothing more ominous than this Quetzal just floating above us. Now, we found some more nests while we were out and about, but it's the fake Triceratops. I forget their name, but they're not really fake. They're fine. They're good tames, but I can't remember their name right now. Suffice to say, it's their nest, but in the bottom right corner, notice it says Allosaurus nesting ground. What does that mean? Well, it's like out of the frying pan and into the fire. Here come the Allos. We've got to get out of here. It's interesting to me that the Allosauruses, they target us over the herbivores down below, over the other things they could try and get, and they actually were able to get up here and knock us off. Without that no durability armor that we have on, we would be dead by now. You really have to appreciate just how important durability is on your armor types. Again, we're going to parachute out of their reach, out of their nesting grounds. Oh, an Equius, that would be a good team. Listen, if you want to get your hands on an Equius, you again need kibble to passive tame them, and we don't have kibble. So, We found another loot drop. We're going to go ahead and pick that drop up the beacon and see what we get. Last purple drop had a gamma implant, and this one also has a gamma implant. Note, oh man, Ankly gang in between us and the base. I think they're all upset. Well, let's go ahead and test out the spikes and see how they do. We'll try and lead them kind of back towards our base. If we can get them a little split up here, I'm going to call that a big win. There we go. Kind of 2 this way, 1 that way. And then they stop to fight the spikes, giving us a couple of free hits in. We have a little room to maneuver. This is, yeah, okay, we killed one. Okay, evened out the odds. It's just a 2-on-1. But one of them is fighting spikes, so we'll probably take them down. I should have somewhere I can duck into behind me. There it is. There it is. Into the spike jungle. Anki is going to have trouble turning around in here. True. There it is. Taking spikes on both sides. Yeah, so this worked out really well. Surprisingly well. Actually, I didn't think this would work nearly as well as it does. It's pretty much going perfectly. Big win for us. Wow. And got some keratin, some scaled hide, and of course, some meat. Now, there's 3 different nests. Once we do have an egg, right? So we should talk about nests. There's an ember nest, a clay polymer nest, and a living nest. And all of these nests are going to have different needs for fuel, and they're going to have the capability to hatch larger and larger eggs, and they also slowly degrade over time while you're using them. Now, we also need saddles. Where do you get saddles? Well, you're gonna have to build the saddle crafting kit. When that's a good time for us to talk about the Sanguination Station. Thanks, Mr. Fister, for this mod. I'm told vampires are jealous. They would just love this. They would love it that we have it now. So we're going to put that down. We're going to go ahead and throw down our saddle crafting kit as well. Since we're starting to pick up some eggs, we're going to, of course, want to ride our dinos. Now, here in the saddle crafting kit, you can see there's a tab called implants, and it's a way to reactivate the implants. If you've been paying close attention, the implants we've been picking up are all deactivated, and the implant that we're going for is the Zeta implant, which we don't have any of yet. But to reactivate it, we need blood, which we're going to get from the Sanguination Station. Because again, we're a tribe of 1. If we had extra time, we could lie around and poke ourselves with a needle and get the blood we need, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to deal with all that. It is time that we get a haircut and upgrade our armor. Now, I don't know what killed this little arthropleura here, but we're going to harvest it. But we're going to harvest it and keep our head on a swivel. Just like when we cut that tree. Did you see it? Oh, it was so close. It was so fast. If you saw it, kudos to Udos. 2 points for you. Check this out. We're just a little bit stuck here. There is a, right there, you see it? The raptor? Yeah, I don't know if the raptor killed that, but it looks like it is aggressive towards us, but I think it's stuck on something. You can see it's kind of turning a little there. All right. So we're going to, the Phiomia is just losing its mind. You need to get the implants, reactivate the implants. We're going to talk a little bit more about it a little later in this episode, but check this out. We got feathers from the raptor. Again, keep your head on a swivel. Here we're going to come back to the arthropleura, get the chitin, and look, you see a little packy running behind us? That's a real problem. Now, this is going to be some real sneaky ninja stuff here, okay? We were kind of Spider-Man on our way through. I'll show you that in a second. And there are a lot of turtles. There are enough turtles here that is... Oh, don't be Spino. Don't be a Spino. There are enough turtles here that made me say, is there a nest? Now, I don't see so many turtles now. Maybe the Sarco's been eating them. And I gotta tell you, there's a community Discord that you're welcome to join. It's for the community. Links are in the description. But I asked, what are some of the worst tames? What is that? Tropianathus. Man, this is a bad spot. You know a Spino lives around here, or a Baryonyx or something, or some snakes. And I asked them in the Discord, I said, hey, what are some of the worst tames? And I feel so bad because Pasha aptly named some bad tames. And okay, check this out. This is the ninja play right here. We've been kind of traversing the map like this. We've been jumping around with the reusable parachute and grapples because not everything looks up. It works fine until we get towards the flyers. Okay, so Pasha said a few tames that are bad, and I kind of played the devil's advocate and thought of good uses for them. Yep, forgot our parachute. I called it the ninja play. It's really just the big doofus play. I can't believe we forgot the parachute there and took all that fall damage. Suffice to say, in the Hunted mod, sorry Pasha, but turtles are one of the better early tames if you can get your hands on them. And what makes the turtle an okay tame in the Hunted? Well, we can build a saddle for it and the implants within our budget. Now, This is usually about the time some knuckle dragger says, "What is that mod? How do you have a spyglass with multiple zooms?" It's in the description. Is this sounding familiar? If you go into the video's description, there's a mod list, okay? And then you too can get your own spyglass with variable zooms. Oh my goodness. Check this out. Tropionathus, real trouble. They are actually like very dangerous. One turtle survived, but it's bright red, so I'm sure it's not going to live very long. Maybe it's just a blood turtle and it's a survivor. I don't know, but you have to believe there's a Spino around here somewhere. We just haven't found him yet. We're going to try and stay above the ground as long as we don't anger the flyer. The one fly, never mind. Abort mission, duck, duck, duck. Okay, here's the plan. Evasive maneuvers, there's lots of little tree branches to get cut on. We do have the no durability armor on, which is a fairly big buff. You know, again, if you're running servers, I don't know how to do this, don't ask me, but you might consider not letting the tiers go above hide. It is pretty powerful as you continue up the no durability armor tiers. Now, I think we've lost the Tropionathus, which is good, but there's a couple of Morella tops over here, and they are aggressive. See, he's instantly aggro to us, which makes me think there's either a nest. There's got to be a nest around here. There's a couple of Phiomias still just losing their mind. I don't know why the Phiomias hang out here. They really should find a nicer neighborhood. I mean, it's the swamp. Maybe you like the swamp, but in my experience, the swamp has some serious bite. Now, no Spinos, no Sarcos, no Baryonyxes, no Titanoboas. Okay, big snakes, big crocs, big, water Rexes. Seems to be pretty safe. We're gonna go ahead and whip out our spyglass and see if, okay, there's the turtle. I love this zoom. The zoom is so good. Seriously, get yourself the spyglass. Okay, baby Morella tops. Again, notice level 1. All of the baby dinos come in at level 1. This is when the game crashed. Now, I got us back to where we were, even was able to keep the buff over here. But as Spino moved in, and it's going to eat the last turtle. It's level 235. We don't really want to deal with that, but we do want to take advantage of the buff while we have the time. And I think I have to start picking things up. I swear there's got to be a nest around here. There's nesting behaviors, but maybe it's under something, spawned near something. I don't know. That being said, if this buff turns off, we have to just run immediately. Does this log look weird? Is this a weird looking log? I don't know. I've been debating this log a little bit. Do you think it's a weird log? I think it's a weird log. Let's see if we can maybe hatch it. But like, there's nothing else here. This is like right where everyone is hanging around. But there's just maybe? I don't know. Like, this could be a nest, right? I really don't know. There has to be a nest here. And this is just part of how the mod goes. You think there's, oh no. Does he see us? Mr. Spino? Chew on someone your own, oh no. Okay. So, this is bad. Literally the worst, no. Go. We really have to, okay, here's the thing with Spinos. They can knock over trees, so we can't like kind of spider hop our way around. Maybe we're gonna go the long way around and see if we can, yeah, there goes one tree. They just literally, Spinos are bad. I mean, we couldn't hit the broadside of a Bronto. We're going to leave the Spino alone. So, this is part of the mod. You'd think you're sure there's a nest somewhere, and eventually you find it or you don't, but you have to commit to looking for it. And a little update here, yeah. Check this out. Grab our spyglass. You see that little broken egg there? Was that there the first time and we just missed it? Go back and let me know. I don't see it, but maybe it is. Here's the nest. I don't remember this interface popping up. Now, we picked up the eggs, but there's no turtles to defend it. That Baryonyx almost made me need a change of pants, but I saw that the Baryonyx was panicking, and I decided anything that makes a Baryonyx panic and run is worthy of a quick grapple and go, and it's the Spino. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but I do know that that thing is wicked fast and a lot bigger than you think. Another tree goes down. We're in some real trouble here. Now, I will tell you, we did sneak back in and harvest the turtle corpse, but I will also tell you that we may have fed the Spino, which was probably a reasonable thing to do. We were kind of taunting them. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. One, we've upgraded the base a little bit with some more spikes, but two, this battle's been going on for a couple of days. You know, this wasn't recorded all in one session, obviously, and these dodos have just been bullying this Anklo. Spoiler, they do 0 damage, so they just keep biting him, and the Ankly won't fight back. It is subtle, just kind of the funniest thing. It is, I don't want to mess with them. I just think it's kind of funny. So, we have a couple of eggs. We really do. A couple of good eggs. And we have a little more survivability and mobility, but there's nothing to do with those eggs other than hatch them. But even if we hatch them, we still don't have the ability to get a saddle. We finally found a white drop. We've been looking for these white drops. The white drops have the Zeta implants. The Zeta implants we need for the tier 1 saddles. The tier 1 saddles are the eggs we've been picking up. That turtle egg is a tier 1 egg. Finally. Now, I ran right over this nest. Sometimes they're obvious, giant red eggs, and we still just almost passed it. No, I don't see any packies around, but we'll just go ahead and pick this up. And packy! Yep, packy attack. Don't mess with the packies. I'm really not kidding. The packies are a fierce force to be reckoned with. I did discover the grapple gun works underwater and faster than swimming. Just to grapple yourself to the side. Don't worry, the packies did chase us all the way over here, but check this out. The Dodo gang runs this beach. They have absolutely no respect, and we have all the respect for them. They don't do any damage, but they're fierce. Now, we can get some feathers from them, right? So we got some from a raptor, which is good, but we can also just pluck them off the dodos. So we don't really want to kill these dodos. There's a supply of feathers that actually do, over time, repopulate themselves with feathers. So, on one hand, the Dodo gang does not respect us. On the other hand, you know, maybe they deserve our respect. I mean, they are absolutely fierce. They don't give up. They're very, you know, they're just dodos of fierce motivation, dedication, and I don't know. Let's just leave the dodos alone. We're gonna bully them and take their feathers because we're a bully. I mean, at this point, we're just bullying the dodos. I feel kind of bad, but we don't even. I guess we don't need the. It's fine. It's fine. We need the feathers. We're going to shoot some arrows or something. I don't know. Suffice to say, if you need feathers, dodos are a great, easy early source. You can even pluck them when they're whacking you. Just be careful. The dodos do attack. Now, what are these? Baby parasaurs. What does that tell me? Well, it tells me, oh, no. It tells me there's a nest in the area. Check it out. A parasaur nest. See, it's the same kind of Y-shaped log. Again, a parasaur and a turtle. Pretty okay tames to start on the hunted. They both only need those basic saddles. We only need the bottom level nest hatcher. And we can get some cocoa droops. I showed you right at the start we've been picking up cocoa droop seeds, but here we actually have the cocoa droop fully grown. We have to check that out. Man, the dodos are relentless. What? Wow. Like the dodos guarding the nest more than the trike. The dodos were guarding this nest more than the parasaur. That's okay. We'll just kind of dodge the trike. You know, once you have your levels out, here comes a parasaur. Okay, this one's running right for us. Yep, avoid. So it seems like even if the most of the parasaurs are panicking, maybe it's a mama parasaur and she's like, it's over now, and she just kind of headbutts you. I don't know, but just keep your eyes open. If you think it's an empty nest, it might not be. The Pelagornuses have yet to come for their revenge, but I'll tell you what, remember, in ARK, dinos are aggressive on line of sight. So here we hid behind this rock, and they kind of forgot about us. Now, the dodos didn't. They still showed up and just pecked us. Get him, mini Vadd, get him. Now, we're going to go and put down a few more spikes, which is what we did. We can always go back and get that parasaur nest. But check this out. An RG, this whole time an RG's been chasing us, it got itself stuck on our spikes and just kind of like ping pong balled, you know, back and forth. Feathers, RG talon, quill hide. Yes, double yes. Now, we're going to go back over here. Why? Because we were patient. You know, there's no reason not to be patient if you know where the nest is and it's one good jump away. That's right. It's all the parasaurs are pretty much gone. Maybe something ate them. It wasn't me, but check this out. Look at it. Doesn't it look great? Look at all these eggs in there. There's only one for us, I think, though. And the little level 1 baby parasaurs, again, they can be passive tamed, but we need kibble. And remember, always destroy the nest once you've harvested from it, because it's not going to respawn things. They are pretty cute, though. I kind of do want to get one of these. Many of that. Seriously, man? Wow. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so what about those cocoa droops? Well, you can tear off the husk and you get the seeds. Now you can grow your own. Do that. Tear off the husks and grow the seeds. You get them from parasaur nest, and they're kind of a low-level, easy nest to get your hands on. So, remember there were 3 nests. We're going to go ahead and build the ember nest. It's the easiest one to build. Remember, when you go ahead and put down a nest, it will degrade. It needs fuel. This one says it needs spark powder. not a big deal. Spark powder we can do. Spark powder only needs flint and stone, but it needs a mortar and pestle, which needs hide and stone. It's doable. It's really doable. Now, I don't know if the eggs we're going to hatch are going to be obedient or not. Sometimes when you hatch an egg, it just runs off like a crazy little baby. So we're just going to build this teeny tiny little cutesy wootsy pen because we really just don't want to hatch eggs and then have to run them down. It just sounds like a headache to me. So here we are. We're back at our starter base, which needs a name. We've got to give this thing a name. We're going to go ahead and put down our very first net. This is the moment we've been leading up to. We've been working at for this entire time. Oh my goodness, we're finally here. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the eggs we've been picking up. And yes, you see that's correct. We've got ourselves an iguanodon egg, a turtle egg, and a parasaur egg. We're going to throw in the turtle egg first, make sure the nest has the spark powder fuel in it. Notice there's this little kind of misty, foamy steam coming out of it. We kind of got stuck in it. This is our brouhaha moment. I don't know what happened here. This was kind of scary. We were actually glitched in there for a surprisingly long time. Looking straight down the nest, drop the egg. You do not put the eggs into the nest. You drop them out of your inventory and they land in the nest. Do not put anything in the nest other than fuel. We're going to go ahead and hatch our 3 starter tames. That's right. The turtle, the iguanodon, the parasaur. This is when you say, Vadd, what are you talking about iguanodon? I walked by a nest. It was undefended. I picked it up. The end. Like, there's just no story. There's nothing to tell. Hey, I did find out that the S+ fireplaces cook more meat faster and have a larger inventory than the campfires. Just so you know. Check this out. Parasaur, boom, level 1. Turtle, boom, level 1. And of course the iguanodon, boom, level 1. These are 3 nests you want to be looking out for, 3 eggs you're looking to try and get your hands on. These are some good starting tames for the Hunted mod. Part of what makes them so good isn't just that they start at level 1, everything does that, but they're tames we can actually get saddles for. That's kind of the biggest obstacle there. Remember the saddle table? Well, the Zeta implants. We have the Zeta implants, which is good. You have to get them from the white drops I found to be most consistent, but there's some other sources. Comment now. Do you know where to get more of these Zeta drops? I'm sure someone watching this down the road will love to hear about that. We're going to grab the blood packs from the Sanguination Station. They call the vampires jealous. We're going to go ahead and reactivate the deactivated implants. One more time. We are activating the implants. When we pick up implants, they're deactivated, and they each have a requirement for something they need to reactivate them. The Zeta implant requires the blood packs, which we have. Now, we can then use Zeta implants for tier 1 saddles, and of the tier 1 saddles we can make, I think the 3 best tames in here are the iguanodon, parasaur, or the turtle. I think the equus is pretty good too, but we don't have kibble yet to get our hands on one of those. Once you use the reactivated implants, you turn them into basic saddles, and then you form the basic saddles to your tame, okay? You get an implant, you activate it in the saddle station, you use the activated implant to make the basic blunt plain tier of saddle, and then you in the saddle station form that saddle tier into the tame you want to have saddled. So Zeta implant, blood, reactivated, basic saddle, parasaur saddle. I went to put them on, and of course there's a yellow drop. We can't miss the yellow drop.
If you learned something or enjoyed this video, share with a friend. If you are new here, subscribe now. If you have joined and enjoyed before, welcome back. If you would like to see more quality content, please consider joining me in supporting the channel through Patreon and utilizing the affiliated links. Thanks.